Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures. Today we're going to be unboxing and installing these Novsight off-road LED light pods. So Novsight sent me these, and let's go ahead and take a look inside. I know a little bit about them, but I want to make sure that everything's here. So should just be a pair. That's the installation manual. The wiring, and it does have the relays from the switch. So you have the little switch there. And then inside the box are two of these Novsight LED light pods, and they have the covers on them for the states that require them. And these are the fog light patterns. So they have a few different patterns. They have like a spotlight, a fog light, and I believe a driving light, which is in between the spot and the fog. They supposedly, right there, SAE rated, so they should be good on that front, and they're IP68 as well, so they're waterproof. They can work underwater. And we are going to mount these on the front of the Jeep, but the reason that I decided on this particular set of lights is because of what I hope's in this box. I haven't even opened it yet. Yep, there they are. So it comes with an amber cover as well. So the normal light output, like this, there we go, is like 6,000 or 6,500 Kelvin. That's way too white for me and for most people. Your eye really likes to be around 5,000. That's kind of the optimal. These are too white. So pop this on there, and now you have about a 3,500 Kelvin color, so it's much more yellow. And as I'm going to be using these for fog lights, I'll probably use them for actual, to help while driving too, but their main function will be for fog lights. I did want the yellow color as well. It's just much easier on the eyes. Doesn't necessarily mean you can see further or better, but it does reduce fatigue on your eyes. Also included in these little boxes, which I already showed you the yellow kind of fog light cover, you have the tools and the brackets to mount them. So looking at the instructions real quick, I imagine there's not much to it. Well, there you have the dimensions. So they're basically 3-inch lights. 3.1 is the maximum width, and 3.55 tall to the bottom of the plate when it's mounted on to the light. And of course, installation, hook the positive to your battery. It does have a fuse on it right here. And so for now it's going to be hooked right to my battery, but in the future I'm going to have a separate fuse block off to the side that will run all my accessories, so it's not directly to the battery. But anyway, just hook up your positive and negative. You have the relay that plugs into the lights, and your switch that runs the relay. So in my case right now, this is how I'm going to do it. I actually have a fog light switch on this Jeep, and I will be using the fog light switch to activate the relay, which sends power to the lights. So initially, this is how it'll be set up. My fog light switch isn't working right now, but it'll be really simple for me to just clip right here and hook it into my fog light switch in the future, anywhere, down the line on the wiring, and then I'll be able to use my factory fog light switch. So now we got them not installed, just aligning them where I want them, and I think I'll just center them in the end slots here, and it should be good to go in that spot. Not bad at all. And the original fog light wiring is actually just behind here, so yeah, I don't know where I'll tie that into the switch, but probably not quite right here. I might trace it back a little ways and tie it in further back. But as far as this goes, I'll just go ahead and drill the holes, and then yeah, we can get these things installed right there. So that was a 5/16 drill bit, and it's a little tight, but it goes in perfect, I think, for what I wanted. Wouldn't have wanted it any tighter, but any looser, then it would have had room to wobble. So just pop these bolts into there and put them on here. I need to go get sockets and everything to bolt those down. And it does have, on this side right here, you probably can't see it from that far away, but it does capture this bolt, so it can only turn a little bit. So you don't have to have a wrench on the top and bottom while you're putting these in. So now they're all bolted up, installed. They're not quite pointed exactly where I want them. We'll adjust that when it's dark. And you can see I have the lines running down here. So let's see, right there is the factory fog light wire. And instead of just running that to these, which would use the factory setup, the problem with doing that is these, the factory fog lights, run through the switch. So all the power runs through the switch. There's no separate lead relay. So it burns up the switches, which is why my switch currently doesn't work. The same thing with the headlights. I actually have a wiring kit to wire relays into the headlights that I'm gonna be doing in the future when I upgrade from these just cheap Napa lights. The other one actually has a hole in it. So anyway, I'm gonna upgrade these lights, probably do some LEDs, and I'll run this other wiring right here. Anyway, H4 with the relays. It's just a wiring upgrade kit that I can run, and it'll plug and play. I just need to run the wires, and anyway, that should be a lot better. For now, we're going to take a look under the hood. Just gonna run the wiring straight to the battery for now, and we'll make like I said, we'll do a fuse box or a fuse block in the future off of the battery somewhere, but for now we'll just tap into this or clamp onto there. That one's actually maybe a little loose, and run it down below to the fog lights. So this is a daytime shot, obviously, and we'll get a nighttime shot, but those are the factory headlights. Those are the fog lights, and I was really surprised at how narrow they are, but I think they'll be kind of right in the range that I want them to be. So I have them just a little bit lower, and they're about the same width. The headlights actually go just a hair further out. I might adjust that a little bit, but let's throw the yellow covers on too so you can see what that looks like. All right, so there you go with the yellow covers on them. And I don't know what I'll do. I might just keep these covers in the glove box and then use the solid black ones most of the time. I can switch them out as needed, but they definitely are much brighter than the headlights. And I like the yellow color. I like it down low. For fog lights, I think this will work really well. Like I said, we'll get night shots of it, but really not too bad. And as far as the setup goes, like I said, this is temporary. So right now, I'm running it right off of the battery, and we'll adjust how it's laid out a little bit just so it's not as much of a mess here. But anyway, positive and negative runs over to the relay, which is just mounted to an existing bolt that I had. And then the wiring runs here across the front, and the extra is there. Then it just drops down through there and connects in, and I'll zip tie everything down. You can see on this side I still have all the loose wiring. I just wanted to see how it worked first. Once I get everything dialed in where I want it, then I'll zip tie everything into place, and we'll run this probably into the cab for now. Like I said, I do want to use the factory fog light switch, so I'm not using this one. And I don't know if I'll run this in there right now to the cab or wait until I wire this into the factory fog lights. So we have just the parking lights on, which is why all the interior lights are on right now. And there's the factory fog light switch right there. It is illuminated, and when you push it, it will turn on a light like that one does. This is the rear defrost. Anyway, oops, didn't mean to hit that one. If you hit the fog light, it should turn on a light there, but my switch isn't working. And I just have the aftermarket light switch in here right now. I'll wire that into the fog lights later. So there's the headlights. And go ahead and turn those off now. You can kind of see they're very well centered and not very bright. The headlights on this thing definitely need to be replaced. But there are the fog lights, and that's with the covers on them. So they come with these black covers. I'm surprised at how poorly that lights up. Anyway, that say Novsight on them that I'll leave on for most of the time that I'm driving. And they also have these yellow ones on them. So if I turn the headlights on and those, I mean, you can't hardly see the headlights. They do shoot a little further, but these definitely as fog lights, they light up this small area really well. And let's take a look here so you can see what they look like on the Jeep. They're not very big, which I really like. So they just barely stand out. You can see them there on the insides of the fog lights, or of the headlights. So this yellow light here and right here. Anyway, and I most likely will use them more with the covers than without. And it's kind of funny, there is a purple haze, nice, anyway, purple line across the bottom. So you can see right there, it's definitely purplish. And they're not as bad on the white scale as I thought they would be. So I thought they would be like too white for me to use at night, but they're really not bad. So there might be a lot of times when I'm not going to be using the yellow covers, because you do lose a lot of brightness with the yellow. You know, it's filtering out a lot of the light, so they're not nearly as bright. But in the fog and stuff, snowy, when it's blizzardy and snowy out, I'll definitely be using the yellow lens covers on there. And I hope, I don't know, we'll see. So you can see all the heat sink, and I actually can feel it. It's already getting a tiny bit warm. I mean, it's not hot by any means, but it's a tiny bit warm. I hope it gets hot enough that it can melt the snow off the front when it's driving. A lot of LEDs don't, but hopefully these ones do. So anyway, there they are without the yellow covers on at all. And I mean, you can see the difference in brightness compared to the headlights. Just a huge difference. And yeah, so I might be able to, they supposedly are SAE rated, so I can use them anytime. Who knows if that's true or not, but that's what the box and packaging says, and the lights say that on them as well. So they are like a tiny bit wider than the headlights, at least in this short field of distance or whatever. And then, I mean, I guess the headlights, these are barely wider. And then I have them pushed far enough apart so they're illuminating the middle of the road. They're barely overlapping to illuminate the middle of the road. So I wouldn't go much wider than they are. I can actually see a small spot there in the middle where it's not quite as bright. So I'm not going to separate the lights anymore. But yeah, overall, I think this is a big upgrade, especially when I do drive in the snow and blizzards and stuff. And this year, as many of you know, at least here in the West, in Utah, California, Nevada, Idaho, all that. Anyway, we've had a ton of snow, and I've had to drive through quite a few snowstorms. And it would be nice to have lights that are better than just these headlights. So, and I am planning to upgrade the headlights as well. They just haven't been done yet. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of these Novsight 3-inch LED light pods. And as you can see, they're actually really quite bright with these yellow filters on them. They're not nearly as bright, but this is a much better color for less fatigue on your eyes when you're driving in the snow and fog and stuff like that. And when I'm not in those kind of conditions, I'll probably just take them off and leave them on the white light setting. But anyway, these, I'm actually pretty impressed with them. They've been good. I've had them on for a little bit, and there should be some storms coming up, but they are IP68 rated, meaning they're basically will function underwater. It should be a really durable, long life lens and LEDs and all that stuff. So hopefully they hold up like the advertising says, but I believe they're $100 on Novsight. You can go check them out. The link's down below. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked it, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Either way, comment, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see in the future. And thanks again. Have a great day.